What is up, everybody? My name is FlashStep from Blight Gaming, and I'm actually going to go over Dust 2 strategies, smokes, mollies, flashes, all of the above. I was going to make like a smoke video at first, but I kind of realized how everybody knows most smokes on Dust 2. And Dust 2 is a very like sectioned off map where you want to control specific points with your utility, along with like quick rotates into certain areas, like faking off cat into mid B, or faking mid B into longer A. Like those are some examples. But it really isn't all about just smokes and flashes. I'm going to show actually sets of grenades for each spot that I feel like is important to control on the map. So let's get it started. So let's start at long. Anytime that you're trying to control long here, these are the smokes and flash mollies that I always throw or make my team throw. And so let's start off. I line up here, top of the box. I just jump to see where, like, you see this column right here in front of me? I jump to find where that's at. I get to the middle of the column, and I bring it all the way up so that it's as high as the top of this right here. So I jump, line it up to the top, and that's going to smoke off the corner for us. And then I throw one pop flash just to the right here. That flashes like that, and then you have one other person who's right here who's going to toss left and right click flashbang for up close. I'm throwing a flashbang. And when you pair those all together, you have this smoked off, you have anybody who's peeking that smoke or pit flash, along with a flash up close. That's how you usually want to take long, and then obviously if you have enough utility and these guys aren't peeking pit, putting them all into pit's always strong to force them back, but isn't needed. Most of the time you're getting that fight and you're getting a trade. The only important part is to make sure when this smoke is up on the turn to either spam or put a molly behind it. That's the other grenade that you usually want to use. If you have that pop flash that I throw from over at box, you want one guy with the gun obviously out and he's running out. The other guy needs to molly behind the smoke. That way they can't play on the rail, they can't really do much and help out their pit guy. So that's long. The next spot we're going to talk about is towards middle. And this one's a little bit more basic. We kind of all know like what you toss here. But there are two flashes that I always throw with the mid to B smoke. So everybody knows the mid B smoke, straight in the middle, toss here. And then the two flashes I throw are like this. One's right above this corner to pop up close. And as you throw that, your teammates are coming out, clearing up close, right, and then hugging this wall. Now, when they start hugging and start clearing up towards B side, you want to throw this flash. You see it's like the shadow of the cable. I go to the top of this and then up to the cable, and then it pops perfectly so that whenever someone's peeking towards B, like towards box or towards the window, they're gonna get flashed as well. So if you can, like, there's a lot of you who might actually just use like a basic like mid B smoke and then like flash out here or whatever, but that isn't as effective as like doing a pop flash up close first and then straight into this one. Give it like a couple seconds and then you toss that. So that's how we usually take mid to B, paired with somebody who's usually upper B with the bomb, and then I rotate over to like 2-3 split it, or it's 4 out middle, just one of the two. Another spot that I'm going to show is like taking into B. With this one's actually kind of new for us. It's kind of recent. I haven't put it into like play yet, but we're going to be doing it somewhat soon. Where you have, everyone knows lurk smoke, just anywhere that's generally in this area. I toss mine like this. I just get in the corner here. And you see like this really like faint line that like kind of separates the black tile. I just put my crosshair directly on it and I toss. And it's just a basic lurk smoke. And then and the other flash that I like to pair it with, I'm gonna start doing this more often, is you come to this corner, just like in front of this box basically, and aim like your crosshair like at the light, so that it pops inside the smoke. And usually flashes anybody who's gonna be peeking that smoke, getting ready for a lurk. And the only other nades you need to throw when taking out a B here, along with like a Hummer flash or like a flash on the ground somewhere if we have the utility for it, is going to be a Molotov on the plat. And you can just hit that wall and you want to make sure that it hits right there. That's like one of the most important mollies when you're taking into B, in my opinion, if you have the utility to do it, because one of the things that players will do if they like see that lurk smoke is they're going to spam it, or they're going to go to back plat so they can just hold B and then play for their rotates to like flash them in, peek and whatnot. So if you have that molly paired with that flash, you're taking B pretty often there and successfully, or at least trading and making them play like a retake most of the time if you win a couple rounds. The next spot I'm going to show you is towards cat, and now this one has a lot because you can do a lot with it. I do the drop down smoke a lot of the time whenever we do an A execute, and so what we have here is the drop down, which in order to line this up, you see this wall, the corner of it, line it up with the side of this wall. So it's like that. And then you put your crosshair anywhere in this like little box on the side of the AC or ledge or whatever this is. Just toss. I'll show you where that lands. So that's your drop down smoke, right? That's like what you're going for if you're dropping from cat. And you pair it with this smoke. You just come in the corner here, put your crosshair level to the floor.
I'm throwing smoke.
And that's right there. And then you have people who obviously you have to molly into sight, which above the A, and that lands in sight. And then you have one flashbang or two. We usually use like anywhere from 1 to 3, but you want to make sure that you like flash in this general area and kind of like stutter step backwards. If you run through it, you're gonna flash someone who's goose, but often the guy with car will see that flash coming. So anytime that if you're the person dropping down, the person going out even, I just like to toss right here and stutter step backwards so that it pops like that, and then you do your movement down into CT. It depends which way you're pushing. A lot of times we'll pair that smoke when we're going to mid to B. So instead of using like this mid to B smoke that you always see, you just do the drop down smoke, and then I come into CT and I flank while they come up middle. We pinch on the guy who's CT if he's alone there a lot of the time. Something that I wanted to mention as well, like if you're taking towards long, like obviously you have the long execute with the smokes and the flashes, but what do you do after you take long? There are like 2 other smokes that everyone usually tosses. Well, no, only one actually. This one, the second one I'm going to show you, not very many people do it, but I think it's really strong if you know the retaking from cat. So we all know like the smoke that like for cross. But I don't like throwing that one that lands like in this general area because I feel like CTs can make too many plays around it. So usually when you're clearing A, unless they're pop flashing and like trying to get information, which if you're doing the type of execute that I showed you with the smokes and flashes early into the round or even mid round, you can still have time to wait here for them to like burn their utility and try to pick you, and then you just trade on them. After that happens, you eventually like work up, right? And you can work this pretty well. Like you'll get a pretty good feeling if they're not playing on site or not. Eventually like clear out car and whatnot, and you get to this general area right here between like COD and between COD and like clearing out cat, where you see like these lines, like these dots that like make a line kinda. You just kinda like in this general area get to where this corner's like you can see the box, and just throw it towards the bottom of it. And then your CT's gonna be smoked like that every single time. And it's really not that risky. Like if you're clearing this slowly and know what they're doing, you don't need to throw the cross smoke that lands right here. I think it's kind of bad, and you see a lot of players make moves on it. Like people that come over and pop flash you through, or they boost behind to get the planner, or they give them room to jump up here and get the frag. Like there's just so much risk in throwing that. I know players do it, and a lot of good teams do it as well, but like why? So it's just something to think about. I always make my team wait so we can toss that deep CT smoke. And one of the other smokes, like let's say you know they're playing cat, right? Why aren't we smoking cat out a lot of the time? And there's like here's a smoke that you can toss if you're going to be taking cat as well. I mean, if you know they're retaking from cat. So you just get in this corner here, and then you see like the side of this wood panel or wood wall, whatever it is, column, whatever you want to call it. Get to this corner, and then go all the way up until you are level with the top of that antenna, right? And then I'll show you where this lands. It's pretty nuts actually, because if you know they're playing cat,
Smoke.
like how do you really retake? Like they have to play from outside the smoke. They have to play like right here, which is the most tradable angle in the world if you have 3 guys running over towards the car. This paired with like usually whenever I'm about to do the CT smoke, I'll do this flash as well. Just anywhere over this red sign really, because if they do decide to play outside of that smoke, it pops them, pops quad, pops anyone in sight for the most part. Just pairing a flash high in the sky, because the only spots of like contest where they're going to contest you are going to be cat, are going to be CT, or a guy hiding quad. If you have the utility, burn one molly towards quad as well. That'll work well for you if you like he's hiding there. But if you start using this smoke, and I think teams should use it way more often than it's done. Like I'll toss it again here. It's in the corner and up to the antenna.
I'm throwing smoke.
And like how no one can pick you. Like it's impossible to get a frag there. Like no one, you can't even sit down in here. You have to be out of it. So that's something to keep in mind. For the most part, those are all the smokes and flashes and mollies I want to be taking, using to take control of the map, and I think that's something to talk about in general. Is like Dust 2 in itself is a map of control points, and then going into where they're not. So if you use those utility bunches into taking areas of the map, you'll win a lot more of your rounds. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, let me know. But thanks for watching.